Well, this is a very interesting body of celebrated women. There are 100 of them, and my guest is one of the 100 unseen, powerful women in the world. Women who are bringing about transformation, possibly uncelebrated, because they're doing it under the radar of the world stage. But they're movers and shakers, they're world shapers, and it is always a pleasure to have Tribal Chief Theresa Malila with us from Malawi. She's the founder and director of Somebody Cares Ministries. And Theresa, there's always so much to catch up on, but you just came with so much this time. We're moved right down to our toenails by what God is doing through what really has been a pioneering effort amongst those who are poor, those suffering the impact of HIV and AIDS. How many years for you?
12 years.
12 years. You started out, I'm just going to say it, you started out as a crusader, angry at the ground that Satan was having in vulnerable lives. And you became a voice. And you got a lot of people on board with you. I want to show the acrostic for CARES, because somebody cares is an action word. Caring, advocating, resourcing, empowering and educating, serving and supporting. VisionLed is so pleased and proud, in a right sense, to be a strategic partner with Somebody Cares. It's been a great together mission. It's got Theresa dancing, of course, as you saw in the opening of the program. Even the Azungus.
Yes, that's right.
That's white men are moved to dance. There's my husband. That's not his first dance lesson in community, I'm sure. In fact, the very first time he came home from Malawi and returned to church, he was very frustrated, Theresa. He said, "Nothing moves here." But you dance about everything.
Everything. We dance when we are sad. We dance when we are happy. We dance because we know in every situation God is there. We dance for the glory of God, for the goodness of God, in spite of our circumstances.
Well, last spring, Jim was over for a big conference.
That's right.
And I think that the focus was youth. We have a beautiful picture of him with a little guy named Enoch. I think, well, Jim can tell us later, I think Enoch baptized him a little bit in that hug, as little ones without diapers are wont to do. But this was a powerful session. How many young people came, and where did they come from? Jim's teaching here.
There were over 2,000 young people, and they came from every impact area that we are working in. That is about 24 communities that we work in. They came from all over rural Lilongwe.
How are they responding to the kind of changes we talked about yesterday? Behavioral change, just societal change, the whole community alive and moving in a kingdom direction.
Well, these young men, I can tell you that if change is happening in the other areas, they are the ones orchestrating the entire change. We've had traditional authorities come to us and say, we need the youth in our area to come. They pray overnight, 3 days in communities. They go door-to-door evangelism, speaking about HIV, AIDS, malaria, water and sanitation. But above all that, you need to turn to God. You need to turn to Jesus. And they are evident wherever you go. The gospel is going, it has no boundary. With these young people, they run with it.
You just look at this picture, they're worshiping here.
Yeah.
The sincerity, the enthusiasm, they know God.
Absolutely. They live God. It's their life. You know, people can depend on all sorts of things in life. These are people that know only God can change. Only God can bring development into their areas. And their focus is God, the kingdom first. And everything is going to be added.
You are loved and respected by other tribal chiefs, by the traditional authorities. I wonder what they think about the clear leadership potential that is pushing to the fore through these young people.
Actually, they're the ones that have said to me, we need these young people, because they even go to their traditional courts. They go to their headquarters and pray there overnight. I mean, the atmosphere in community has changed. There is no heaviness right now. There's a joy that is inexplicable that only comes from the Lord. There is peace, there is unity, what we call umodzi, umuntu, and ubale. You know, umodzi means community, coming together. Umuntu is our humanness. Ubale is our relational. You know, we are relational people. We need each other, and we need God above all in our relationships.
We talked yesterday about this marvelous campaign launched by the Archbishop of Canterbury in London and impacting so many countries in Africa. Silent No More. This is about violence against women. This is about rape, incest,
Yes.
Abuse, trafficking, all the bad stuff.
right.
We will speak out. A big word that is so powerful now. You told me there is safety
Yes.
in communities. Women can sleep at night without fear of being ravaged in their sleep. Wow, this is the gospel lift,
Yes.
Theresa.
Yes, and there is order. You know, where there is order, you know the Spirit of God is there. There is order now. And when we launched this in Malawi, Somebody Cares launched Silent No More through our Abundant Life Center, we wanted to know who will be the first men standing, who will say, it stops with us. We had 30 men that stood and say, we are the first men. And we even have a traditional authority who said, it won't happen in my area. That is T.A. Kalolo, and even set up a victim support unit in his area.
Wow.
So things are changing. And I don't take credit. This is God. We walk obediently and willingly, serve him. He does all.
Every age group is affected. I'm looking for some of the numbers that, because we're going to go to the children next. You have 204 volunteers.
That's right.
Working with how many critical care patients?
Over 500, that's a rollout. That's a rollout. At any one time, we will have 500 patients.
And then those who have been patients and have been lovingly cared for, they too volunteer.
Yes, that's about 750 of them. We call them the support group. They just celebrated recovery in a one-day conference recently. They were celebrating the goodness of God. The gospel, including the selenium, that God has provided selenium for them, that it boosts their immune system. They are celebrating that they are alive today, where they were called dead people, people that were negligible. Today they have a voice. Today they are the ones encouraging those that are terminally ill. They are the ones that urge people to get up, because God will provide for them.
You know, as we speak, Malawi is in a state of emergency.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything from petrol, water, electricity,
food prices.
Things rationed, things non-existent. A lot of trouble, and yet you've got these shining models in community that must be impacting, must be getting the attention of those urban centers who are seeing the difference that true community and God at the center
That's
makes.
right. You know, you leave God out of the equation, nothing stands. Every foundation has to be with God. In the beginning, God. And then everything else comes together. And I'm so thankful that God has gone through all of this with us and stood with us, gone before us, come behind us, and the people see God clearly. They worship God, you know, not for the wealth, but for his goodness. For
True
his
dependence.
goodness.
True dependence on him. And now how do we get this to North America? That would be my next big challenge.
Well, I think people are being changed. The ones that are coming from America have known that it is not the structures, it's not the wealth, it is the Spirit of God. And they are seeing this through the worship and the prayer. You know, every community has a day of prayer to pray in the things of God and pray out the things that are not of God. Every community there. We've gone back to prayer and worship as foundational for any change.